Welcome back to another episode of Healthcare Horrors. My name is Alicia Caracella. I'm a training and development specialist.
I'm Ashley Boyce. I'm a brand specialist.
And I'm Dolan on the knobs.
On something today. Another planet, one with the Earth.
No.
Last time we talked about George Marion Sims. There was a lot of stuff to talk about with him. And who are we talking about today, Alicia?
Efren Saldivar.
Yeah.
I was just looking up how to pronounce it, and it looks like it's Efrain.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'll just call him Saldivar.
Cool.
So we're going to talk about him. There's quite a bit of background on him, which makes me happy when I do my research because it gives me something to contribute. So he was born on September 30th, 1969, which makes him a Libra.
That was also the day after my mom was born.
Really?
Same year.
Same year and everything?
Dang.
9/29/69.
Wow. Easy to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So Libras are extremely agreeable and honest people who believe strongly in the importance of social connections. Libras are among the most fascinating and intelligent individuals on the planet, and they have a lot to give. Libras are recognized for their charm, beauty, and well-balanced personalities.
Not in this case. It's not very well balanced.
Yeah. It always makes me laugh when like a description like that pops up, and I'm like, it's not really how I would generally describe someone who is a murderer, but whatever. So Saldivar was born in Brownsville, Texas. His parents were named Alfredo and Isora,
Nice.
and they moved into the country from Mexico so their children could be born as U.S. citizens. They later moved to Los Angeles, California, where Alfredo hoped to find work as a handyman and Isora worked as a seamstress. In school, Saldivar was described as someone who was very extroverted, decent student, and he idolized the high school gangs that he watched while in junior high. So he's already got bad ideas, bad thoughts in his mind about how life's going to go. So when he himself started attending high school, he was overweight and had trouble fitting in with people. So his first job was at the supermarket from which he stole things. So
Nice.
not feeling too good about himself, acting out.
Yeah,
Also probably trying to be cool.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of friends growing up. Like, he was popular with the teachers because he was a well-behaved student, but kids, not so much. They kind of thought he was a bit of a weirdo, and he was in band. He was a band kid.
Aw, that doesn't make him weird.
Yeah, it does.
Just means he likes to play an instrument.
No, it makes him very weird.
I won't lie. Everyone I know from band was weird, so
Yeah, that's
I
why.
was just trying to give them a pat on the shoulder.
I'm pretty sure that's why I'm weird. Band kids.
No, I wasn't a band kid. I'm pretty weird.
If you're not weird, you're boring, but there's good weird and bad weird. Moving on.
Anyways, now
Anyway.
that Saldivar has stolen a lot of things from the supermarket, his grades dropped so bad that he could no longer graduate high school.
Drop out.
Yep. So now he's just doing terrible.
He was working full-time at the supermarket, and I think a friend came to the supermarket, or he ran into a friend from high school who graduated and was now pursuing medical.
Gotcha. Okay, so he saw this, and then he took a liking to his friend's uniform. Okay, that's why the sentence didn't make sense.
Yeah, the
He
uniform.
He liked the uniform his friend was wearing, so he decided to pursue the same line of studies. So he's like, cool outfit, bro, I'm in.
Basically.
After taking and passing a high school equivalency test, he enrolled in the school as well. So after a year of studies at age 19, he earned his certificate and got a job as a respiratory therapist at the Glendale Adventist Medical Center, where he worked the night shift when there was fewer staff on duty. Only a year of school to become a respiratory therapist.
There was a shortage
Oh my
too,
goodness.
of course. So
They're just like,
you're hired.
you're done. Yeah.
Isn't it still
Only
pretty
a year?
short?
Don't you have to like go to college at all?
Yeah, but I think it's only 18-month program.
Oh, wow.
And then so many hours of practice.
Interesting.
I could be way off, but I'm pretty sure. You know what? I might be thinking of X-ray tech, but doesn't matter. Some of them are like that.
Okay. So at work, he became well liked and was known to be competent and reliable. And for some reason, they note that he was depressed and took Zoloft as treatment for a while, but he was said to have eventually stopped.
Yeah. I guess, side note, any respiratory therapists, let us know how long you went to school for.
Please tell us.
Just kind of curious. And this really wasn't that long ago.
No.
Like, he graduated or like started this in the late 80s, early 90s. So, yeah.
Google says 21 months.
So about 2 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's the Master of Respiratory Care program. Hold on. That's not.
Yeah, I don't think he got his master in respiratory.
You just have to have an associate's degree.
Yeah. Same with X-ray tech.
Wow, I'm learning so much. All right.
Cool.
What did he do?
So yes, of course, he's working the night shift. He was one of 2 respiratory technicians on the night shift. And sometimes when his shift would end, he would actually walk to another hospital and pick up some other shifts just to make some extra money to help support his family. Like, not his family. He didn't have kids or anything that we know of, but like his mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout his career, like you just said, he struggled with depression and for some reason decided to stop taking Zoloft, his medication, 6 months into his career. And that's when stuff started to really go downhill.
Sounds like he made that decision cold turkey and just said, I'm done.
Yeah, I don't know why he decided to stop taking his meds. Don't stop taking your meds. Or consult your doctor first.
Thank you.
So his first victim, I don't have a name, but it was a terminally ill cancer patient who obviously terminally ill, wasn't doing good. And Efren, what did you say? Efren?
Yeah.
Efrain.
Efren.
It could literally be anything else.
Yeah.
It's just, I just call him Saldivar.
Saldivar decided to turn off this patient's breathing apparatus. And going forward, he was pretty careful at choosing his victims, who were usually very near death. Other victims that he didn't turn off their breathing apparatus, he would inject with Pavlon, which was used to make patients stop breathing on their own when they were already hooked up to a ventilator. So if you're not hooked up to anything yet and you're given this, you're going to stop breathing, for those of you who don't know. So his murder spree went pretty unnoticed by the hospital because it was a lot of ill patients already who weren't doing the greatest. Once several of Saldivar's patients started dying in a single night, other nurses began joking that he was a jinx and had a, quote, magic syringe. So again, this is a case where others on the unit are joking about it instead of like, wait a second, what's really going on
this
here?
Like that always happens.
Always.
You hear this in every single story like this where it's just a haha joke, but magic syringe really put me over the edge for some reason.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, like if you can't imagine yourself doing it, it's hard to imagine other people doing it, especially when you are familiar with that person, you know?
True.
I don't know. I think like if I was joking about, like, I don't know, I don't think I would think that there was some truth to it if I was like making a joke about it. And just, I guess, in my own experience, like I would have to think like, okay, wait, why are we joking about this? Like maybe we should talk to somebody.
Well, you and Bob Baker are on the same page. What a name.
Thank God for Bob.
In April 1997, another respiratory therapist named Bob Baker went to his supervisor suggesting that Saldivar was actually harming patients. The supervisor's name was John Bechtold, and John and Bob, they already weren't very fond of Saldivar to begin with, so Bechtold, being a supervisor, didn't want to come across as biased since they both like already didn't really like him. So really the only action that John took was telling the night shift supervisor to keep an eye on Saldivar. And that's all that really happened. So Bob tried. So goes under the radar until some other coworkers wanted to use Saldivar's locker to play a joke on someone else. So practical joke or prank. And when they broke into his locker, they found a whole bunch of syringes galore, vials of morphine, some other drugs that I can't pronounce, and Pavlon. So the story didn't come into the light right away because the nurses that broke into his locker were more worried about them getting punished for breaking into a locker, so they didn't report it. February 1998, 6 months after they tried pulling that prank, one of the respiratory therapists that broke into the locker, Ursula Anderson, admitted to a friend at a bar one night what they found in his locker and expressed concern. This friend, or at least acquaintance, was named Grant Brosis, and he decided to make an anonymous phone call to Glendale Adventist to pass off a tip that someone at the facility was harming patients, which did start an investigation. So the hospital took the tip seriously, but they did not take Grant Brosis's request for $50,000 seriously.
Wow.
Yeah, because he was like, I'm telling you this information, I want $50,000. Like, you should have been like, I'll give you this information if you give me $50,000, maybe.
Also, or just do it because it's the right thing to do.
There's that. So this Grant person didn't sound like the greatest human, but either way, an investigation was started. The hospital immediately notified authorities. Sergeant John McKillop from the Glendale Police Department was on the case, along with Will Curry and Tony Fuchsia. They started with questioning Grant Brosis first, who made the anonymous call. After being provided a list of respiratory therapists at the hospital, he said it was Efren Saldivar's name that sounded the most familiar from Ursula's story. And then Ursula gets questioned. She's nervous and she denies the whole thing. So they kind of hit a bit of a roadblock.
Damn, people are really afraid of getting in trouble for the wrong thing.
Yeah. When hospital administration questioned the incident from before of Bob Baker coming forward. Okay, so they go back to that whole incident that Bob Baker brings it up. Nothing was really found there either because the supervisor just said to watch him and then nothing ever came of it. So again, detectives are stumped from that. So finally, the captain of the police force suggested just going straight to the source and just question Saldivar, which is good. Instead of just giving up, just go straight to the source.
Go straight to the guy who everybody's saying is the guy.
Yeah. So they bring him in for questioning. They hook him up to a polygraph test. The polygraph examiner's name was Irvin Youngblood, which is kind of a cool name.
Hell yeah.
And at first, Saldivar denies anything to warrant the allegations against him until, out of nowhere, throughout questioning, he decides to start confessing instead. So he tells the examiner that 6 months into starting at Glendale Medical, he began injecting patients or killing patients. At first, he would just turn off their ventilators until coming across a discarded bottle of Pavlon, and then he started using that. He claimed, of course, that these were mercy killings for those already so close to death or had do not resuscitate on their charts. Saldivar talked for 2 hours after being read his rights and showing no interest in an attorney. Detective Curry arrested Saldivar after he confessed that he lost count of how many people he actually killed or injected, and it could be at least 50 patients.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
No problem.
Now prosecutors, like, even though he confessed, they still need hard evidence to actually put him away, which after searching his apartment, they actually didn't find anything there. I don't know why they didn't go to his locker. Maybe he cleaned out his locker. Who knows? But since they didn't have any evidence to keep him, he was released. Glendale.
What? Even though he said he did it?
Yeah. I mean, I guess a confession isn't enough to actually keep him. I don't know.
I think it's enough to keep him. I think keep him and charge him, but it's not enough to necessarily convict somebody.
Yeah.
Dang. All right.
So
I'm
Glendale,
talking like I'm a cop.
No, I mean, it makes sense to me. Keep him. He confessed to it. He gets fired from the facility, and Saldivar claims, since he was freed and then fired, he claims that the whole thing was just a lie because he was suicidal and was hoping to go to trial and everything just to get sentenced to death.
There are easier ways to die. That is really insane.
Mm-hmm. Investigators kept on the story, though, until they found what they were looking for, because they just weren't buying that he just made all that up. So after examining so many bodies, like, again, this isn't a drug that is easily traceable unless you're looking for it. It's not something that stays in the system long after they die. So they start, and there's so many bodies, like,
because a lot of those patients were so unwell.
Yeah, they just had to, like, anyone that died around this time frame could have been a victim. So they started with, like, the most recent dead bodies from the hospital, and they found traces of Pavlon in 6 out of the 20 that I guess shouldn't have had Pavlon in their system. So January 2001, Saldivar does get arrested again. They take him into custody. Saldivar took back his declaration of lying and being innocent, as well as a statement of mercy. Instead, now he's saying that he killed these patients because he just wanted to lighten his workload, and that he even killed at the other hospital that he took shifts at, too.
Oh, wow.
That was the motive. He wanted to lighten his workload.
Apparently.
Which is not uncommon.
Yeah.
It's like you know, the nurses and the caretakers who work with the elderly people that they hate, and then they just kill them because they don't want to be around them.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Just get them out of here. So
there are so many other professions you could choose.
Wow.
He also adds to his story that it's not just around 50 patients. He claimed that there could be 100 plus patients that he killed.
Of course.
Not surprising.
And if that's really the case, then that makes Efren Saldivar possibly one of the most prolific serial killers. Who knows how many people he actually killed.
That's so messed up. Just go work at the supermarket.
Yeah, you should have never left the supermarket,
honestly,
bro. But it was all because of the uniform.
Oh my
He
God.
likes the uniform.
So ask for a different uniform at the supermarket. You want to wear scrubs? Cool. Put an apron over it.
Man.
March 2002, there was a trial, and he entered a guilty plea on 6 counts of first-degree murder. Judge Lance Ito, who also presided over the O.J. Simpson trial, ended up sentencing Efren Saldivar to 6 consecutive life terms. And he never did receive the death penalty, but ironically, Pavlon would have been one of the drugs used for the lethal injection.
I bet he knew that and was like, all right, I was just being a silly goose. I don't really want that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I was just being a silly goose.
Giving silly geese bad names. Sorry about that.
Oh, man.
That's his plea in court. I was just being a silly goose. I'm sorry.
That's what I would say if I was going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
All for the uniform.
Yeah.
That's so bizarre. Like,
so, and they had enough to convict on 6. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, who knows how many people he really killed, but I mean, 6 consecutive life terms. I mean,
is there a speculated number?
Not that I saw.
So, actively killed up to 50 patients and contributed to the deaths of between 100 and 200 patients.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Is what I have.
One of those things, man.
Well, and he was convicted for murdering Jose Alfaro, Salvi Acetrian, Myrtle Brower, Balbino Castro, Luina Shidlowski, and Eleonora Schlegel. And Gene Coyle is the only one of his victims who survived.
Wow.
Dang, dude.
And not to take away at all from what her horrible human being did, but it's a good thing we don't use polygraphs as like Bible anymore because they're really easy to pass. We did this in my psych courses when I was in college, and if you can control your heart rate, you can lie about anything. I was lying left and right. Passed. Flying colors. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting you talk about that because we're going to talk about them more in the next episode.
So yeah, it's a good thing we don't use them.
Yeah.
Truly.
I am curious. I would like to take one. Like, I would be nervous, like, for no reason, but
also I might have passed because, I mean, there was nothing at stake.
Right.
So I'm just lying to lie.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, nothing's going to happen to me. So
I'm not going to go to prison.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we did that in my psych class, and I was like, wow, that is very, very surprising. But yes, so no, don't do what Efren Saldivar did. And also, like, if you don't like your job, just get a new one.
Yeah. Find something else.
Literally anything else. Other than just resorting to killing people. Because it's messed up.
And if you're on medication for any sort of mental health problems, don't just stop your medication. Talk to someone first. Cool.
Goodness. All right.
So next time we are going to be talking about John Dale Cavanas. Cavanas?
JDC.
Cool. Tune in and
all right. Murder. Healthcare horrors. Murder.